Before we start talking about today's things, let's make sure we understand this. In math, a lot of times we hear people talk about proper fractions and improper fractions. And we get kind of a bad connotation with the word improper. Sometimes in math we actually need improper fractions, but most of the time we don't like them. Okay? What's the difference between a proper fraction and an improper fraction? What makes something improper, I guess, in the terms of fraction, Alex?
Kind of like 4 plus 5, the top number of the fraction doesn't add up to the other one because it went over. Like,
I don't know where the 4 plus 5 part came from. Give me an example of an improper fraction.
4 plus 5.
Well, there's no plus in it. I just want fraction.
5 fourths. 5 fourths.
Okay, yeah. 5 fourths is an improper fraction. 4 fifths is a proper fraction. Okay, it's not usually acceptable, not good to have a bigger number over a smaller number.
Not good. You're very improper.
Okay, sometimes though we have to do it. Later on we'll actually make things improper because we need to. And the reason we don't do improper fractions is because it's just hard for us to understand. Okay, there's really nothing wrong with it. But what really does 5 fourths mean? Well, here's the deal. Let's say, you know, if you have 5 fourths of something, if you have one whole thing, that is 4 fourths. And that means 5 fourths means you have an extra fourth there. So really 5 fourths is the exact same thing as it's having one whole thing plus a fourth of another thing. And we always, when we give our answers, unless you're instructed otherwise, you will give the change the 5 fourths into a mixed number because, you know, if I don't usually say I gave you 5 fourths of a dollar. I'd say I gave you $1 1/4 dollars, or you ate 1 1/4 pizzas or whatever. It's just cake, whatever you ate there. Okay, proper fractions look like this. Improper fractions look like this. And we're going to today change our improper fractions into mixed numbers. Now, how does one do that? Let's say you've got 17 thirds. Okay. One way is, and I recommend not doing this because it's going to take you a long time, I'm cutting stuff into thirds. So I could sit and keep making circles. There's 3 thirds. 4 thirds, 5 thirds, 6 thirds. 7 thirds, 8 thirds, 9 thirds. 10 thirds, 11 thirds, 12 thirds. 13 thirds, 14 thirds, 15 thirds, and I still need 2 more thirds, 16 thirds and 17 thirds. I don't have, I guess, this part of my thing right here. So one way is to draw all the circles and then count how many whole circles you ended up with. 1, 2, 3, 4. I ended up with 5 whole circles, and this one didn't end up, so I still have that little fraction of a thing left. Or you could do what? Anybody? Brooke? Yeah. And here would be the steps. To change improper to proper, what you're going to do is divide the bottom into the top. Okay, and that's all a fraction really is. A fraction really is a division problem, by the way. So if I'm talking about 17 thirds, I'm going to take 17. I think that's the top of my page. I probably can't do it there. I'm going to take 17 and divide it by 3. How many times does 3 go into 17? 5. That's my whole number. But I end up with a remainder. What do I do with that remainder? Madison? Yeah, you take it, the remainder, put it over the top of the thing that you were dividing by. So 5 and 2 thirds. So step 3, okay, make sure that you make the remainder a fraction. Have we done that before?
Yeah.
I can't remember if it's 6th grade or 5th grade.
Yeah, you-
Okay, so no matter if it's an improper fraction, you just take the bottom into the top. However many times it goes into it is the whole number. The remainder has to go over that, and the bottom number still gonna do that there. Let's try, how about 18 fifths? Now, it's my hope that you really, at some point, don't have to actually do it out as a division problem. I mean, hopefully you know your multiplication tables well enough. And by the way, I would like to see this written down on paper. If this is the problem in the book, write it in the book. You can just say to yourself, how many times does 5 go into 18, Brian?
3 for 6.
3 times. 3 times 5 is 15. How much would you have left over? 3, because you had 15 from the 18, and then you keep the same bottom number. If that's too much to do all at once, then by all means, take 18, divide it by 5. Your leftover is 3, and you put it over top of that number there. I will let you do this as long as it's an easy problem. Now, if it's something like this, a 134 over 9,
Don't do
Please.
that.
that's definitely not a
Can
mental
you do
problem. Yeah, it would be what? 44? It'd be 44, 14, 14 and 8/9. Wow.
Check your answer.
134 divided by 9, 9 goes into 13 once,
Hey, you cheated.
So
36,
no, he's checking.
14.
Take a guess, and now he's checking.
What was your guess?
What was yours?
49.
Haha.
Points of material, if it ends up being, something like this, 9/3, well, that one doesn't have a remainder, it's just 3 goes into 9 evenly 3 times, so you can just write the whole number 3. Or if it's 12 over 3,
4.
it's gonna be 4. If it's 5 over 5, then it's just gonna be the number 1. Okay. But it should not be too terribly difficult for you.
How long did that take you?
So, your assignment then